The movie opened with a boy on a bicycle named Charlie, arriving at the abandoned and haunted Meadowcrest mansion. Charlie peered through the gate, finding nothing but silence and loneliness inside. The story then flashed back to when he was informed about the mansion by a girl his age. She told him that the owners of the mansion lived out of town but still owned the land and were unwilling to sell it because of their emotional attachment to it. The bicycle girl said that her father told her that the mansion was haunted, but Charlie didn't believe it, calling it just an old wise tale. Then the girl said that Halloween was around the corner and dared Charlie to reach the keep out sign outside the mansion, and he would get $20 for this. Afterward, he had to enter the compound and fetch the numbers from the door. Charlie accepted the challenge and asked the girl what he would get afterward, to which the girl said, "My phone number." Now the scene shifted to where we left. Charlie finished the first challenge by reaching the keep out sign outside the gate. He dared to enter the land to pull off the last task. He left his bicycle on the path and advanced to the mansion in fear. He pulled out his screwdriver and began to remove the numbers from the door. One of the numbers came off and fell onto the floor. As Charlie leant to pick it up, the doors opened on its own, causing him to fall onto the floor inside the mansion. Charlie saw smoke escaping from the doors, so he pulled back to leave in a rush, but sadly, he was dragged back into the mansion by a smoky entity that slammed the door shut. 1 year later, Wendy, a coffee house owner, was happy about her daughter Lana's return to the town, but Lana told her that she wasn't there for long and would be back to her school after this Oktoberfest homecoming. Meanwhile, Rachel, Lana's friend, arrived outside. Inside the coffee house, we are shown a missing person report for Charlie pasted on the wall. Shane was fixing a car in his garage when his father Carl arrived and told him that his mother was restless about him the last night as he went somewhere without informing them. Carl told Shane that changing tires and working in a garage might be an enjoyable thing for him now, but over time, it would be detrimental to his body and career. So he had set up something for him tonight, but Shane clearly refused to accompany him, saying that it was Halloween and that his friends were back from college. Despite this, Carl pressured him, telling him to be ready by 8 o'clock. Brody took Lloyd to Meadowcrest Mansion, preparing to play a Halloween prank on their friends. Lloyd told him he would put on his costume the moment he entered the mansion. Lloyd got off the truck and advanced toward the mansion, leaving Brody to go and bring other friends. Meanwhile, someone was stalking them from the mansion. Taylor, Dax, Rachel, and Lana, a group of high school students, were waiting at the crossroads to be picked up by Brody, who had not shown up yet. Shortly, Shane also arrived and joined them, brushing aside his father's orders. Rachel approached him and kissed him as Shane was her boyfriend. Before long, Brody arrived in his truck and asked his friends to climb into it. Afterward, they hit the road. On their way to the abandoned mansion, Lana asked Rachel about the mansion. Rachel explained that the house had been abandoned for a long time, allowing people to fabricate stories about it. Then Lana told Rachel and Shane that there used to be an old house in the neighborhood where she grew up. An old lady lived there and had 100 cats, so everyone called her an old hag. Every Halloween, all the kids would go and egg her house. Moments later, Brody brought all of his friends to the mansion, keeping them in the dark about the Halloween prank he had set up with Lloyd. Brody formally knocked on the door, but it was already open. They entered the house and shut the door. Inside, the house was plunged into darkness until Dax switched on the lights. Brody and Taylor began to romance and went off to make the most of Halloween under the pretense of exploring the house. Soon, a black liquid began to seep down from upstairs, disrupting their romantic moment. However, Brody and Taylor brushed it aside and carried on with their romance. In another room, Rachel and Shane were engaged in an intimate moment. Rachel sensed that a nearby chair was moving and immediately fled downstairs in fear. Meanwhile, Lana and Dax continued exploring the house and came across an old photograph of a beautiful girl named Annabelle Foster. Dax tried to hit on Lana, saying Annabelle wasn't prettier than her. In one of the photos, Dax suddenly noticed a ghost and, in fear, dropped the picture onto the floor. He quickly told Lana about it. Just then, Brody and Taylor entered the room. Taylor suggested that it might have been Dax's reflection, but Dax was certain that he had seen a ghost in the picture. While stepping back with the broken photograph, he accidentally bumped into the gramophone, causing it to turn on by itself. Baffled, Dax placed the picture back in its spot while Lana continued staring at Annabelle's photo. Moments later, Lana felt as though someone was watching her from the chair and grew uneasy. Her fears soon proved to be real when a demonic entity suddenly appeared and terrified her. Hearing her scream, all of her friends rushed into the room, only to find Lana with blood trickling from her nose. She told them that she had seen something sitting in the chair. Brody went to investigate but found the chair empty. In fact, none of them believed her except Dax. Terrified, Lana decided to leave the haunted mansion. But the house had no intention of letting her go. She tried to open the door, but it wouldn't budge. Taylor suggested that they were being pranked by Lloyd, who might already be hiding somewhere in the mansion, but Lana was certain it wasn't a prank by any means. Shane stepped forward and tried to open the door, but he couldn't pull it open either. Everyone soon realized there was no network on their phones and began to panic. Dax also took a shot at the door, but ended up injuring his shoulder.
Oh, that's bad. It went right through your shirt.
Shane and the others searched for a back exit, but all they found were boarded-up windows throughout the house. Within seconds, panic broke out when they realized there was no way out. Shane asked Brody to call Lloyd, who was nowhere to be seen. Meanwhile, Taylor discovered a cracked mirror covered with cloth. Lana warned her to stop, saying that rumor had it the mirror was covered because it was jinxed. Suddenly, a demonic hand emerged from the mirror, reaching for Taylor. Before it could grab her, Taylor noticed it and asked Lana if she had seen it. Before Lana could respond, Shane lashed out in anger, insisting that there was no one else in the house besides them. Meanwhile, Taylor checked the mirror, but her hand was grabbed by an evil entity on the other side, causing her to scream in pain and fear. Everyone rushed to help her and managed to pull her back just in time. However, Taylor lost a finger in the encounter. Exploding with anger, Shane grabbed a chair and began to demolish the door, but his efforts went down the drain when the door remained intact. Dax and Brody removed the mirror from the wall, only to find nothing behind it.
That's not possible. We saw her hand go straight through it.
Shane, Brody, and Dax then heard a noise coming from outside the door. Shane quickly peered through the peephole and found a bunch of trick-or-treaters outside. Panicking, Shane and his friends began banging on the door to get the attention of the trick-or-treaters, but they were left unheard. The group of trick-or-treaters threw eggs at the doors of the mansion and drove away in their car. Inside, Shane and the others were shocked to realize that the trick-or-treaters couldn't even hear them and had left. Suddenly, they heard Lloyd's scream echoing through the house and immediately rushed to find him. Shane, Taylor, and Lana went to search for Lloyd, while Brody, Rachel, and Dax took Taylor to a room. While searching for Lloyd, Lana approached a door that opened by itself, leaving everyone shocked. They nervously entered the room and found several antique items inside, which were, in fact, older than the house itself. Lana stumbled upon an old death warrant belonging to Annabelle Foster. Meanwhile, Brody and Dax took the wounded Taylor into a room that was heavily reeking of a foul smell. Taylor told Dax that he had some kind of bizarre wound on his head. Dax quickly saw it through his reflection in a pot. Lana read the death warrant and learned that Annabelle was found guilty of witchcraft and felonies, so she was sentenced to death. Meanwhile, Rachel happened to see an entity loitering in a dark room. Lana pointed out that Annabelle was suspected to be a witch, so she was drowned to death. In the meantime, Rachel went missing, leaving Shane and Lana anxious for her safety. Elsewhere in the mansion, Brody found a severed hand in a pot and became repulsed by it. Outside, he heard a woman sobbing in her room, so he went inside. Brody saw that it was no one but Rachel was sobbing. He asked Rachel what she was crying for and where Shane was. Rachel explained to him that the things in the room belonged to her. Brody tried to calm Rachel down while asking her where Shane was. Instead of answering, Rachel began to make love to him as she wasn't the one Brody thought her to be.
Take it easy, right? Shut a door or something?
Soon it turned out to be the spirit of Annabelle Foster, who violently attacked Brody. Carl approached Wendy's coffee house intending to gather some information about his missing son Shane, as he was Lana's close friend. Wendy informed him that Lana had left much earlier with her friend Rachel to meet their other friends, revealing that Shane had also left along with them. Carl didn't want to bother Wendy, so he assured her there was nothing to worry about and left the coffee house. In a room, Rachel, Shane, and the others discovered a bunch of strange things which might have been used in witchcraft by Annabelle. Apart from this, they saw that someone had already lit candles on the dining table, and this left them speechless for a while. Shane stumbled upon another boarded-up window in the room and began tearing it down with an object. He put his hand through the boards and pulled it back with strange black liquid smeared all over it, reaching a conclusion that the thing behind the window wasn't real. Meanwhile, the smoky evil entity stalked them from behind the transparent curtain. Dax and Taylor were searching for Brody, who had gone missing since he rushed out of the room after seeing severed human body organs in a pot. Suddenly, They heard a loud noise and immediately concealed themselves behind a counter. Soon, Brody popped up gravely wounded. Dax rushed to him, trying his best to figure out what actually happened to Brody, who wanted to tell Dax about what happened to him but couldn't, and died afterward, leaving Dax and Taylor shattered. Lana found a human hand inside a container and told the others about it. She said the rumors about Annabelle Foster being a witch were in fact true, and that's why she was killed. Meanwhile, the smoky entity arrived there. Shane accidentally dropped the container onto the floor, causing a lot of smoke to appear in the room. Rachel cut her hand on a shard of glass, and before anyone passed out from the evil smoke, they fled the scene. Taylor saw the door open and rushed out of the house. Dax was being haunted by the whispers in the house. Taylor dashed to the main gate, but she was horrified by the spirit of a little girl frolicking in the field. Taylor turned on her phone's flashlight and began to flee while screaming for help. Before long, she fell into the water as she saw the specter girl around her. Taylor tried to swim back to land, but she was dragged back into the water by the evil entity and died the same way Annabelle Foster had died. Back inside the house, Shane asked Lana about the cursed mirror. Lana explained that it was believed that if the spirits of the dead saw their reflections in the mirror, they became trapped in this world. That was why the mirror had been covered with cloth, to keep the evil spirits confined to their demon realm. Shane concluded that the spirit of Annabelle Foster, the witch, had been freed and was now haunting the house. Meanwhile, they heard Lloyd's painful scream and frantically began searching for him. They discovered a secret door hidden in the wall that led to the basement, from where Lloyd's screams were echoing throughout the house. With no other choice, they descended into the basement, hoping to find Lloyd there. Soon enough, they found him trapped inside a cage in a terrible condition. Lloyd was bound with ropes and kept whispering, "She's coming," warning them of the witch Annabelle's arrival. Shane began untying the ropes to free Lloyd, while Rachel and Lana escaped through a duct. Shortly afterward, Dax arrived with his face badly infected and told Shane that Taylor and Brody had been killed by the evil witch in the house. Shane broke down in tears, begging Dax to help him free Lloyd. Together, they began trying to rescue Lloyd as quickly as they could. Soon after, Annabelle arrived in the form of black smoke and foiled Brody's plan to rescue Lloyd. Poor Lloyd died when a heavy cage fell onto him from a great height. Dax confessed that the witch had entered his body, causing him to let go of the rope and resulting in Lloyd's painful death. Rachel and Lana managed to find a way out, but as Rachel moved to escape, Annabelle ripped off her nails, making her feel immeasurable pain. Lana tried to pull her back, but she was also attacked and passed out. It was morning when Lana regained consciousness in the duct. She removed the sewer grate and came out of the duct. Soon, she woke up from her nightmare only to find herself still trapped inside the house. She turned on her mobile's flashlight and found Rachel sitting on the chair in the room. Rachel said to Lana, Annabelle was using them to become free from this house, and saying this, she began walking towards Lana on her hands like a ghost. Shane and Dax rushed into the room, startling Lana. Afterward, they began searching for Rachel, and shortly after, they found her in a bathroom covered in sheets. Shane entered the bathroom and asked her what she was doing there. Rachel turned around and took off the sheet, revealing that she had strangely grown older. She asked Shane if he still loved her, to which he replied that he did. He took her hand to get her out of the house, but she suddenly gave up the ghost, leaving Shane to break down in tears. All of a sudden, the house began to crumble, prompting Dax, Lana, and Shane to flee in terror while being pursued by Annabelle. They rushed into a room and hid themselves. Nonetheless, Annabelle grabbed Shane and nearly choked him to death if Lana had not saved him just in time. Meanwhile, Officer Wilson arrived outside the mansion in his police car while searching for Shane and his friends. He immediately informed Carl about it and asked him to come over there. Dax suggested burning down the mansion to put an end to everything. But Taylor and Shane disagreed, as they were already trapped inside. Dax asked them for some time and went into another room. There, he poured gasoline over a bale of hay. As he moved to set it on fire, Annabelle appeared behind him and brutally killed him instantly. Enraged, Shane began destroying Annabelle's belongings while calling her out. Not long after, Annabelle appeared and slammed Shane against the wall.
Gotta get you out of here, Lana!
Shane insisted that Lana must leave. The evil Annabelle then seized Shane and killed him, leaving his body completely dried up. Lana managed to escape the sinister mansion and found police cars parked outside. Before she could run toward them, Annabelle forced her into a pit filled with water and drowned her the same way she had killed Taylor. Carl and Officer Wilson searched the area and discovered a body submerged in the water. With the help of others, they pulled it out and began administering CPR. Soon after, Lana was revived, and Carl helped her into the car. Officer Wilson then discovered another corpse. It was Taylor's body. Lana stepped out of the car and walked away, revealing that she was none other than Annabelle Foster herself, who had been waiting for a long time to escape the house. In doing so, she had used Shane, Brody, Dax, Taylor, Lana, Rachel, and Lloyd.